week. I spoke at the top of the program about this horrific attack at this ICE facility in Dallas and the rise of political violence from the left here that seems to be really afflicting the nation at the moment. Now, we've just seen Vice President JD Vance offer up incredibly scathing rebuke of Gavin Newsom, basically accusing the Democrat governor of encouraging crazy people to go after law enforcement. Here he was. Here's a little bit of this.
When Democrats, like Gavin Newsom did, say that these people are part of an authoritarian government, when the left-wing media lies about what they're doing, when they lie about who they're arresting, when they lie about the actual job of law enforcement, what they're doing is encouraging crazy people to go and commit violence. You don't have to agree with my immigration policies. You don't have to agree with Donald Trump's immigration policies. But if your political rhetoric encourages violence against our law enforcement, you can go straight to hell.
Yeah, I mean, straight to hell is a pretty strong thing to say, but I think he's right here, Sean. The left is really turning up the temperature so hot on the political climate in the United States, aren't they?
Absolutely. Look, for the last week after the assassination of Charlie Kirk, we've heard them talk about both sides and violence on both sides. But the bottom line is immediately after that, we've had ICE agents, ICE vehicles, ICE property, had rocks, projectiles, bottles thrown at it. And yet the left says nothing. These are government officials doing their job, following the law. In America, if you don't like the law, you change it. You vote for change. You elect new people. You petition your government. But the left is silent. And here's what the media is failing to tell you. I did a cursory search of all of the social media of the leaders, Chuck Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries, AOC. None of them will say, do not attack an ICE agent. Do not attack an ICE facility. Violence is never acceptable. They love to use words like, let's turn down the volume. Let's turn down the rhetoric. But they won't condemn their own side. And the media in this country is complicit in allowing it to go on. The vice president, James, is absolutely correct on this. This is ridiculous. If you're going to say that violence is unacceptable, then admit it right now. Your side is coming after ICE agents doing their job, fulfilling their legal obligation, and the left is silent. And to the vice president's point, James, when you tell people they're thugs, they're KGB operators, they're like Nazis, they're like Hitler, the Gestapo, what do you think is going to happen? At some point, if somebody believes that the threat is big enough because the Democrats, the leaders of the Democrats have told them that, then it is your, almost obligation to say, well, then I must stop it. I must do something, because that's what the left has done. They've got these people believing that it's their obligation, in fact, to some degree, their duty to take action. And they own this. All of the blood of those people that died yesterday is on the leaders of the Democratic Party.
Well, that's right. And now we've seen the news that the president has officially named Antifa a terrorist organization. Now it's called Antifa because it supposedly means anti-fascist, but they act pretty fascist. How do you think this is going to go? Because, of course, the left claims it doesn't even exist, but people are posting on social media guidelines that Antifa itself has put out about how to raise an insurrection and how to hold a riot successfully.
Absolutely. I had Harmeet Dillon on my show yesterday. She's the Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights. She walked through the whole process, how she prosecuted some of these folks. Look, at the end of the day, one of the things that's really interesting is the left wants to pretend this is a amorphous group of people, that we have no idea who they are. It's a loose group of people that, there's no common thread. But when you look at the funding, there is a common thread. We can get to who's funding it. Why do all the tents at these Antifa sites and rallies look the same? Who's paying for the equipment and the weaponry? Somebody's paying for it. It is got to have some kind of command and control, some kind of leadership. And Donald Trump is instructing the federal government for the first time to actually go after it, to figure it out. But that's like saying that the mafia back in, the 1970s, 80s was a sort of an amorphous group. There's always a leadership. There's always somebody that's paying for it. There's someone that's coordinating the command and the control. And Donald Trump is making our government look at this in a realistic way for the first time.
Well, Sean, I'm glad you mentioned the mafia because, of course, the Racketeering and Organized Crime Organization Act, RICO, the RICO statutes, were used to get the mafia precisely because of that. Do you think the same sort of RICO statutes, the same sort of anti-mafia statutes could be used by the Justice Department to shut down Antifa?
Well, absolutely. But more than that, James, it's not just the statute, it's the leadership, right? So when I was talking to Harmeet Dillon, it's a question of willpower and leadership, right? So I think that, your question about the specific law is important. But if you're not willing to at least look into this and figure out what they've done, you're right. They use that RICO statute to go after the mob, to talk about how there was something bigger at stake that we needed to address. I think absolutely that kind of a statute can be used. But what is reassuring as an American is that a leader of our government, and that flows all the way down to not just Donald Trump, but to Pam Bondi, our Attorney General, and Harmeet Dillon, the Assistant Attorney General, and others at that level, the FBI under Kash Patel, are willing to go after it and to prosecute it. Because that's been the view of the last several administrations, which is we don't even need to look at it.
Sean, we're going to have to leave it there. Sean Spicer, thank you so much for your insights. And check out the Sean Spicer Show, of course. Now, thank you so much for your time.